On a warm summer evening of August 12, 1985, Japan Airlines Flight 123, a Boeing 747, prepared for what was supposed to be a routine domestic flight from Tokyo's Haneda Airport to Osaka. Aboard were 524 souls, passengers ready to reunite with families, return to their workplaces, or explore the scenic beauty of Osaka. Little did they know that this journey would become one of the most heartbreaking chapters in the annals of aviation history. The aircraft, nicknamed the Queen of the Skies for its majestic size and presence, took off smoothly into the twilight sky, climbing towards its cruising altitude. The first 12 minutes of the flight passed without incident, as children giggled and business travelers settled into their reading, all under the watchful care of the experienced crew. However, as Flight 123 neared the peaks of the Mount Takamagara, a critical and catastrophic failure occurred. The aircraft's rear pressure bulkhead, which had been improperly repaired after a tailstrike incident 7 years earlier, suddenly burst. The resulting explosive decompression ripped through the tail, severing all 4 of the plane's hydraulic systems, which are crucial for controlling the aircraft. With the hydraulics disabled, the pilots found themselves struggling with an airplane that was nearly uncontrollable. The 747 began to oscillate violently, ascending and descending repeatedly as the pilots valiantly attempted to regain control using the only remaining systems, engine throttles and asymmetric thrust. Despite their experience and desperate efforts, the aircraft's condition limited their ability to steer it effectively. For the passengers and crew, the next 32 minutes were filled with a harrowing mix of hope and despair. As the airplane lurched and the cabin lights flickered, many wrote farewell notes to loved ones, while others clasped hands, offering comfort in the face of fear. Children were comforted by stories and gentle words, even as parents' hearts were breaking with unspoken dread. Tragically, despite the pilots' battle against the odds, Japan Airlines Flight 123 could not sustain flight. At 6:56 p.m., it crashed into 2 ridges of Mount Osaka, a remote and rugged area that complicated rescue efforts. Miraculously, 4 passengers survived, but the toll was grievous. 520 lives were lost in what remains the deadliest single-aircraft accident in aviation history. The aftermath of the crash was a time of national mourning in Japan. Families grieved, a nation reflected, and the world offered its sympathy. The disaster led to intense scrutiny and significant changes in aviation safety practices and regulations. The investigation revealed the fault in the repair work, highlighting the critical importance of meticulous maintenance and oversight. The legacy of Flight 123 goes beyond the tragedy and the lessons learned. It's also remembered for the poignant stories of those on board and the heroic efforts of the rescue teams who hiked through difficult terrain to reach the site. Monuments now stand in remembrance at the crash site, a solemn tribute to the souls lost that day. Japan Airlines Flight 123 is not just a story of a tragic accident, it's a narrative about human vulnerability, the imperativeness of responsibility, and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. Each year, as lanterns light up the night sky on the anniversary of the crash, they remind us not only of the lives lost but also of the need for compassion and vigilance to ensure the safety of all who take to the skies.
Improper repair. The direct cause of the disaster was traced back to an improper repair conducted on the rear pressure bulkhead, which had sustained damage in a tailstrike incident 7 years prior. The repair did not conform to Boeing's approved methods, which ultimately led to the catastrophic failure. Complete loss of hydraulics. It is extremely rare for an aircraft to lose all of its hydraulic systems simultaneously. In the case of Flight 123, the rupture of the pressure bulkhead led to the severing of all 4 hydraulic systems, leaving the aircraft virtually uncontrollable, a highly unusual and devastating scenario. Extended flight time after damage. Despite the catastrophic damage and loss of control, the aircraft remained airborne for an additional 32 minutes. During this time, the pilots struggled to control the plane using only engine thrust, a testament to both their skill and the severity of the situation. Survival of 4 passengers. Among the 524 people on board, only 4 survived. Their survival, given the severity of the crash and the condition of the wreckage, is both miraculous and unusual, raising questions about the factors that contributed to their survival while so many others perished. Delayed rescue operations. The crash site's remote location and the initial confusion about the plane's whereabouts delayed rescue operations. Survivors had to endure a long night at the crash site before help could arrive the next morning, which was a crucial factor in the high number of fatalities. Public and governmental response. The aftermath of the crash saw a significant public outcry over airline safety and maintenance practices, leading to changes in Japanese aviation regulations and the resignation of top Japan Airlines officials, reflecting the profound impact of the disaster on national policy and corporate accountability.